Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Torpedoes are locked and loaded and ready to fire as the Dwarves face off against the Tomb Kings. So we have Pugnaban leading the Dawi today, and myself is going to be leading the forces of the Tomb Kings. Now for the Dawi, they have brought 5 Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes, an impressive armament, and they have an amazing burst damage with them, and especially against the large constructs of the Tomb Kings, can absolutely just annihilate a unit at full health in just a matter of moments. And for support, they do have a Rune Lord who is going to be bringing the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. So on top of these impressive DPS that these Trollhammers have, this Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin will slow down any target that they so choose, and it will reduce their speed by 72%, making them a nice juicy target for all of those Trollhammers. For the rest of the units, we do have some miners with blasting charges, going to be helping to soften the approach of the Tomb King infantry, and that front line is just going to be dwarf warriors. In the rear, we do have a little bit of sneaky stalking with the Bugman's Rangers. They do all have stock, so it's going to be a little harder for things to detect them, and they will be keeping these troll hammers nice and safe, as they do have a little bit of regeneration on top of things if they are able to sustain that damage a little better than most. Now for the Tomb Kings. Tomb King is going to be rocking it up with the Tomb Scorpions. So we have a pair of Tomb Scorpions. They do have bonus versus infantry and armor piercing, everything you want to deal with the Dawi forces. And we do have a pair of Necrotechs as well on their chariots, and they do have their restore ability, kind of healing up those constructs by 1,000 per cast. So there's going to be a total of 4 of those in with between the two of them to provide a little bit of extra healing against the DPS of the Dawi. We do have some skeleton horse archers in the flanks here, and some carrion vanguarded in the rear to help get on some of the gun lines and the like. Front line's going to be Tomb Guard. We're going to have plenty of very nice elite units, and then we do have a couple of skeleton warriors on the flanks, but the most part is going to be these 4 Tomb Guard going to be holding that front line. There's a couple more skeleton warriors in the rear. Now for the Lord, I have brought Arkin the Black. He is going to be bringing Spirit Leech, the Purple Sun as well, as the Purple Sun can do quite well against the Dawis, considering they don't tend to move as much with those Vortex spells, so they do take a bit more damage when it is cast. He does have Spirit Leech, the Liber Mortis, Staff of Nagash, and the Tomb Blade of Arkin. And that is going to be it for the armies today, so let's get things rolling, as the Tomb Scorpion is going to be making quick retreat here, as they do see all of the mass of Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes. It's just going to be something they don't want to be anywhere within that firing range, because they will do so much damage in return. And we do have quite a bit of miners with blasting charges as well. So trying to kind of switch the front lines, but I don't actually see the Bugman's Rangers at this point, thinking that I have a pretty decent chance to just kind of skirmish away with my 2 skeleton horse archers. But now that these Bugman Rangers have been seen, they're going to return fire much more effectively against those horse archers than the horse archers will do to them, considering their shields, and they do have a fairly decent amount of armor as well. They have 40, but the shields and shuts and their DPS against them is much better. But the front line's going to be advancing. Tomb Guard don't want to be coming in too close to these miners with blasting charges, that they will try and fan out a bit, as all of these Iron Drakes are now just opening up, as the volleys are just tearing these Tomb Guard apart. Skeleton Warrior is going to try and come in instead and kind of take these blasting charges instead of the elite troops of the Tomb Guard here. But the rest of the units just going to be continuing to fire away, and here is a nice volley from those miners with blasting charges, landing right into the middle of these skeleton warriors. Skeleton warriors trying to thread that needle, go right into those miners, shut them down as quickly as they can, and to prevent them from using up all of their ammunition. But man, those skeleton warriors are just getting lit up by those miners, and dwarf warriors wisely coming in to close those gaps across the line, making sure that they can continue firing with their miners. So very nice formation set up here, as the rest of the forces, we have the 2 Necrotechs are going to be trying to circle around, get into these Iron Drakes. As such, the Carrion as well are going to be quickly just diving right on top of those Iron Drakes as the Chariots and the Tomb Scorpions do come in, trying to shut down as many as they can. But all these Bugman Rangers, there is just so much range in the back as they are just going to fire in. As you can see, this Tomb Scorpion has already taken close to 50% of his health. Arkin's going to be using one of his summons on top of these Iron Drakes to shut down at least one of the units. But yeah, these Iron Drakes are just going to be relentlessly pounding into these Tomb Scorpions. Tomb Scorpions do have a restore ability down, but man, these Iron Drakes still firing in despite the fact that the summons on top of him, and Arkin is just taking a ton of damage. He does have the Rune of Wrath of Ruin, so he is just at a snail's pace right now trying to escape, but with that slow it is unable to do so. At least some of the Iron Drakes have already, as the Ashapti summon, already available so early on in this match. Not necessarily a good sign for the Tomb Kings, but able to rout off at least one of the Iron Drakes and get on to the rest. The Purple Sun does get cast into the rear lines here, trying to catch out as much units, just as Arkin is taking a ton of damage, trying to dodge as many of these shots as he can. But that Rune of Wrath and Ruin combo with all of these Iron Drakes just absolutely eliminated him from the fight, doing a ton of damage there. And you can see this other Necrotech just getting absolutely annihilated by these miners, as from these troll hammers, as it just lit that Necrotech up and just eliminated it very, very quickly. So things looking very grim for the Tomb Kings, as at least the 2 Scorpions are still alive and operational. The 2 Necrotechs trying to get on top of these Iron Drakes, shutting them down as best they can, because that is priority number 1 if they want those Tomb Scorpions to stay alive long enough to be able to dish out the damage. But they just can't shut down all of these ranged units at the same time, as these Iron Drakes are also coming back. But all these Bugman's Rangers being able to fire in against these Skeleton Horse Archers, kind of eliminating all of the ways that the Tomb King can shut down everything. Like, the Tomb Kings have been able to shut down some of these Iron Drakes, but they haven't been able to shut down everything, and that's kind of where that problem lies. But just because of the massive outburst from these, the damage that these things can do, they even leaving one alive and firing is just going to be curtains for what the Tomb Kings can have to counter them. So the Tomb Scorpion's going to be pulling out of this engagement here, going to be trying to catch up to these units of Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes are a little mixed in with these Bugman's Rangers, seem to be keeping them from firing, but in charges that Tomb Scorpion, going right through those Iron Drakes. He does have another Rune of Wrath and Ruin on top of him, as the Iron Drakes do try and pull out and allow some of these miners and other units to fire in and get that DPS in. The Necrotech, the last surviving leadership for the Tomb Kings, going to be trying to charge on in, but these Iron Drakes have focusing down, and just look at that shot. He is just getting absolutely destroyed by those volleys from these 2 different troll hammers, and down he will go. And with that loss, it is very likely that army losses will be soon to follow, as the Tomb Scorpions are still sitting fairly okay on health, able to shatter 1 more of the troll hammers. But just the mass of units still left, it's just going to be a little too much for these constructs to handle. They have been able to shut down things, doing a lot of damage to the troll hammers and stuff, but yeah, things just not looking so hot for them. One is going to be crumbling away, and this last one isn't going to be able to shut down all of the remaining troll hammers at the same time, as he's just going to get shots from all sides right now, and it is only a matter of time until army losses do trigger, and away will go the 2 Tomb Scorpions and the Carrion in the back. But it's just going to show the massive firepower that these troll hammers can have, especially against the large targets. And there is army losses. Tomb Kings going to be disintegrating, and the Dawi will take the fight. So a valiant fight, but let's just see the damage output that these troll hammers did have in the match. I'm just going to take a little look at the values of 415, 377. Now here's where those values are going to start getting a little higher. So we have almost 1400 on this one. We have a whopping 1800 on that one, and that last troll hammer has almost 1300. So a ton of damage from those 3. And that just goes to show that while the Tomb Kings could shut down some of them, they couldn't shut down all of them at the same time. So like the Carrion had to commit early on if these two Tomb Scorpions wanted to get into the fight, and the Tomb Scorpions didn't do all too bad, all things considered. However, the Necrotechs, on the other hand, well, one did very well. This one got nuked so early on, getting only 242 value, and Arkan himself getting slowed and just shot to pieces by everything that the Dowie had to offer is just a nasty, nasty combo. Everything else just really wasn't able to punch on through. And just going to show how when the Dowie brings so much range firepower, it is very hard for certain factions to effectively deal with it. Bugsman's Rangers, of course, doing quite well indeed, and that Rune Lord doing his thing with that Runes of Wrath and Ruin, really punishing the Tomb Kings when they could. But a very fun match nonetheless. Very interesting build, seeing all of those very heavy firepower units. But that is going to be all I have for you today. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good one.